Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you today?
I'm good, Inga. How are you?
I'm excellent. The sun is shining. We've been able to work with lambs the last couple days, gotten a lot accomplished. Yeah. Excellent. Nice. Life is good.
Nice.
What have you been up to?
Same, except cows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that going? I heard there was a bit of a debacle last night.
Yeah.
In the barnyard?
I got stuck in the mud and...
Ditched your boots?
Ditched my boots. Finished working the cows in my socks. It's called a farm girl pedicure.
Oh, yeah. How'd that work out for you?
Well,
the
chores got done.
You know what? Like I was saying, I think it was very smart of you to step out of your boots that were stuck instead of just standing there.
I would still be there.
Did you get the boots out?
Oh, you should have seen. I was very afraid that they were going to pop out and I was going to fall on my butt. And then my butt would be stuck and then I would be there forever.
Oh, Jules, you and your adventures.
Oh, Lordy.
If you listeners out there have not checked out Farm Girl or Farm Mama Fitness on the TikTok, you should take a peek at Julie's other life.
Yes.
Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about animals as caregivers.
Yes.
And that brings me to the question of, what's your favorite pet story?
Oh my gosh. You know, I was really thinking about that because I've just been around animals my whole life.
Right.
And even with the ranch that we have now, it's like I almost consider these cows to be my pets.
Yes.
And so you just get attached to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And but one of my favorite pets is when I was in high school, Mom and Dad bought me the most beautiful show horse, and his name was Sunny Ben. Oh. And boy, I got to take him to the state horse show and all of that. And actually, as I get older, I appreciate that horse more because back then it was just super duper cool because I was really into my horses and all. But just to now realize, Mom and Dad spent a lot of money on that animal and gave me an opportunity to be able to do something that I loved.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I also had a horse growing up. His name was Tony. And you triggered this memory in me. My parents actually bought him from my best friend, my grade school best friend's family. And I was with my grade school best friend, Jamie, and I said, oh my gosh, my mom and dad told me what they're getting me for Christmas, which they hadn't. And I don't know why I even said that. And she goes, oh, they told you you're getting Tony?
Oh.
Like, oh, oops. I must have been trying to trick her.
Yes.
And it must have worked.
Yes, it did.
So anyway, Tony was my awesome horse, my heart horse for sure.
Christmas present.
Christmas present, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think my brother got marbles that year or something, so I was definitely the favorite. At least that year.
Oh, so not marbles, the horse.
Not
marbles. Literally the marbles.
Marbles. Yeah, it probably wasn't that, but
better than cool.
I just want him to know that I'm the favorite. My sinking brother. That's how he comes up in my phone.
That's hilarious.
I do love him, though.
Yeah. So speaking of pets, though, seriously, on you guys' little farm there, you have some incredible animals. Those dogs. Tell everybody about your dogs.
Yeah. So we have livestock guardian dogs. So we have Zeus, who is our pure Great Pyrenees. And then we have Nala, who is the Anatolian Shepherd. We bred them and ended up with 8 puppies, and we kept one of them who is named Maverick. Mm. They live in the pasture with our sheep, and that is their life, and they take care of the flock, basically.
So cool. They're just beautiful. Beautiful
They
animals.
are. And I don't know. I did not know that I could love. It's a different kind of love that I feel for these. Like, I've always loved animals and I've always loved dogs. But they are the gentlest giants.
Oh.
It's funny to me, even if you give them a treat, they are so tender in the way that they take it from you. But at the same time, they're the most ferocious creatures ever. If something were to try to attack anything, their flock or their family, because at this point we're part of that flock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
they're pretty neat. We have an Instagram page and a Facebook page and a website for our Lost Lake show lambs, and they're kind of the stars of the show on some of that.
Yeah, we'll have to have that in the show notes so everybody can look.
Oh, yes. And actually, we just bred them again. So Nala hopefully will be having puppies in May, I do believe. Yeah, and we have a lot of people that are interested in purchasing them just for the livestock guardian side of it, which is what they are. They're a working dog.
Yours are all big, fluffy, white, pretty, and then I have Chaz. Chaz is fluffy and black, and he's pretty not worth the damn thing.
Oh, but he brings you joy.
He brings me the biggest smiles, and he loves treats, and I love treats, so we're like we're besties.
And Chaz has a little bit of an attitude occasionally,
huh? He got mad at me just last night. Yes, got up at 2:00 in the morning to do the 2 a.m. baby check, and he was just appalled and disgusted that I didn't bring him a treat.
Oh, well, that was very rude.
I know. What was I thinking?
I have one other pet story, and then we'll move on. So we had this barn cat, Henry, and we got Henry back. We believe she was a female. Anyway, Bailey was, I think, about 5 at the time, and Henry was going to be the cat's name. So Henry was the cat's name. But anyway, how the story goes, my grandma's neighbor, who is a friend of ours, had called me, and she said, "Does your grandma have a new cat?" And I said, "Not that I know of." And she said, "Well, I think there's a stray. I think somebody must have dropped this cat off. Is there any way that maybe you guys could come and get it, take it in, give it a home, have it on your farm?" So of course the answer was yes. And I said, "Hey, Kevin, Bailey, can you go up to grandma's and see if you can find this cat and bring her home, and we'll just have a cat now." So long story short, I don't even know if it was months or maybe even a year later. My brother and his kids had visited and been introduced to Henry, which turns out was Mrs. Wilson, his kid's cat, that we stole because we thought she was a stray. So, anywho, Mrs. Wilson came to live on the farm, and her name was Henry now.
That's a hilarious story.
Well, I think by the time we figured out what all had happened, the kids were past Mrs. Wilson, so maybe they had a new cat at that point in time. But I was like, oh my gosh, trying to do a good deed. We stole my niece's and nephew's cat.
Oh my word. Speaking of cats,
yes,
looking in the window at us is your cat.
Yes.
The office cat.
Oh, Tuna. Yeah, I don't know if she's going to show up in any of these frames, but she is a trip.
Who's the boss?
She's my secret bully.
Yeah?
Yes. She's really, really nice to me when nobody's looking. But she likes to make me jealous, or to think that she's making me jealous. So when we have caregivers come in and interview here, she just gets up on their lap and loves all up on them. And she's the funniest cat. I mean, she's the most cat I know, because you know how they can be kind of jerks at times. It's on her terms, man. You can't pick her up and love her. If she decides that she wants you to hold her, she will let you know, and you better do it.
Yeah.
But don't do it if it's not her idea.
Oh no.
Anywho, I digress. Well, today we are going to be talking about animals as caregivers. So you had pulled this verse out of some verses that had been submitted to us, and you brought Genesis chapter 1, verse 21.
Yep.
And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Tell me why you picked this one.
Well, just because when God created everything, he absolutely knew that what he was doing was just so good.
Yes.
And he brought us pets for a reason.
Yep.
And it's just a part of his plan.
Oh, I cannot agree with you more.
Yep.
I cannot agree more.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, what did you bring to us for an uplifting story? Oh,
well, I just have a couple of little baby clips of different people that had animals as pets. So one family had their mother-in-law came to live with them, when she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And what they did was also brought Beethoven. And Beethoven, of course, was a big old German, what is those? German Shepherd, not German Shepherds, but the big old...
Like Beethoven, the movie dog?
Yes.
Saint Bernard?
Yep. Saint Bernard. Anyway, he was 11 months old, and basically he just took to the mother-in-law and just protected her. And the family said that they believed that at that point, Beethoven was just destined to be part of the family. And so he was also mother's guardian angel. And one time when she actually started to wander outside, he saved her.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just really a cool story about a dog that knew that the mother-in-law really needed some extra TLC, and that was his job. Oh. And then there was the family that had a Sherlock, the African gray parrot. And so we're not just talking about kitties and pups here. We're talking about all kinds of animals. And so basically when mother came to live with this family after her husband had died, she took on Sherlock as it was her job. And it gave her purpose. It gave her something to do. Mm-hmm. And they just felt that Sherlock was integral to her mental health.
It's crazy how important that can be.
And then there was one old surly farmer, and he found an abandoned kitten in his barn when he was doing chores one day, and he named it Pumpkin.
Oh, yep.
And Pumpkin, very much like my barn cat, would follow him out to do the chores every day, and they were basically inseparable. And that just blew everybody's mind because Dad had never, ever slowed down and been that attached to something. So when that kitty came, and then the barn kitty became the indoor kitty, which was usually against the rules. But whenever Dad was in the house, it was on his lap.
Oh, wow.
So those are very cute little condensed stories of different people, and those that we don't think would have a pet do have a pet. And what kind of a pet? I mean, everything from iguanas to parrots. It's just fun.
Chickens.
It's chickens.
Bunnies. Yes, not everything is just your traditional cats and dogs.
Right.
That's cool. Well, I'm calling this story Wheelchair Gone Wild. So it doesn't have to do with animals, but I did find it to be just an interesting story, and I'm excited to see how it progresses. Basically, it's a story about a Meridian, Idaho man. His name is Nathan Ogden. And essentially, he had been at a Boise State football game back in September. He had a customized wheelchair, and it was stolen from that game.
Goodness.
Yep. And to this date, at least from what I've been able to find in researching this, it has not ever been found. Wow. But basically, Nathan took the opportunity to turn it into a positive thing, not just for him, but for many, many others. Essentially, it was during the Boise State Virginia game, his customized wheelchair, it just disappeared. Nathan's quote on it, it happens. Bad things happen. Mm-hmm. And he said, I think that people were more angry than I ever was. In everything that happens, you have to look for the good. And he says that so much good has followed the theft in September, including someone stepping up and buying him a new wheelchair. He just felt that the love and support was awesome, and it just keeps coming. Oh. He said it just keeps coming. Hundreds of thousands of people were following what was happening. Where's the wheelchair? Why did it happen? Because of that, he was able to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people that basically said, Nathan, we want to help. So lots of people donated money. I think so far about $22,000 has been raised. He says that it's going to go to a cause that's close to his family's heart, of course, the Wheelchair Foundation, and getting wheelchairs to those in need of them. So Nathan and his wife, Heather, their 4 children, they're planning to help deliver wheelchairs to a community in Mexico for kids that need them. And he said that he just can't wait to look at the kids and say, hey, listen, this is yours. You get to keep it. Oh. You can live your dreams. You can play now. You can do what you want to do. So basically, he just said that there's another donor that stepped in that said they would match up to $20,000 raised. He said that all of the positive deeds, that's what has helped him stay positive in it. And he said for the last 2 months sitting in the chair that had the chair that was purchased for him that wasn't necessarily custom to him, it has caused, some physical pain. It limits his ability to do things, some of the things that he wants to do. He says it stinks. It's not fun. It's been harder on his family and harder on him. However, the good that is coming out of it far outweighs any discomfort that he's going through. Yeah. So I just think that, I think if you can take a moment, take a beat when something bad happens and just go, you know what, there's a reason for this. And how do I turn it around? Make a positive out of it. Understand that maybe this has happened because there's something out there that's bigger than me, and go to work on that. So good for you, Nathan. I am very proud of you and happy to share this story.
Wow. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
Especially also because the population that we serve, there's a lot of, need for wheelchairs. And even here in this office, we keep some loaners available.
Yep.
It's a big deal. So
yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Wow.
Well, listeners, if you have a verse that you would like to share with us or an uplifting story, please get those submitted. You can send them to the caregivenpodcast@gmail.com. And we love going through them and seeing what you guys have to say and bring to us. And we'd love to be able to share that. So, Jules.
Yes.
On to the topic of the day.
On to the topic. So, as I've been researching topics and such, pets just keeps coming to the top. So I was like, well, obviously we're supposed to talk about pets as caregivers. And so there's pros and cons to all of it. So if you are thinking that you want your mother or your grandma to have a kitty or a dog, what are we going to do to make it smart? Make sure it's safe, make sure it's something that they can handle. And so there's just a lot to think about.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So basically what we wanted to talk about was, there's emotional benefits, there's physical benefits, those health benefits to it. And then there's a guy that did a lot of research, and they actually came up with this thing, and it was called the Eden Alternative, and it's 10 guiding principles to getting into animals. So people have spent a lot of time on this.
Oh, yeah. And I think that more and more you're seeing the value that people are placing on animals for their own health and well-being.
Oh, yeah.
Whether young or old.
Yeah.
I think.
And true. There are people that these pets are their family members, and that there's no arguing with them that this pet is just as important as their blood, Yeah. So, and some people don't have that, so they leave everything to their pets. You've heard where animals have been left millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. Oh, and I've heard, actually, I was just recently talking with my mom and about situations where, families that have pets and maybe they're getting to the end of their life or they're putting together wills and legal documents and part of what's left behind is a pet, and they literally will put plans in place on what they expect to see happen with that. And I think that, you can go, those pets can be anything from companions all the way up to service dogs that are helping to serve a purpose or a function. Yeah. If someone has a specific disease process or.
Oh gosh. Even at 4-H camp, there was a little gal that had her dog there because she had pretty significant seizures, and that dog was able to sense that something was going to happen. There's animals that can sense a diabetic
with the
emergency.
Blood sugar stuff, huh?
So they're really actually, God put them on this planet for a very specific reason.
I don't remember if I've told this story or not before, but this isn't so much in the caregiving world, but I remember being at an airport where they were using dogs as like bomb sniffing on shoes. So, normally when you go through the airport, you have to take your shoes off or whatever. Well, they had dogs that were just running through the line and making sure that everything was good in your shoes, which I appreciated a lot because I didn't have to take my shoes off that time. Yeah, there's just a lot of, like I said, anywhere from companionship up to having specific functions, animals, and not just dogs, but cats. And I just saw a post, actually. We have a mutual friend and colleague, actually, who works at a skilled nursing facility, and they raise fainting goats. Oh, yes. And I just saw a post that every year I think they take the goats in to the residents at that skilled nursing. Cute. And let them, pet them and love on them. And I think it brings back a lot of memories for people as well, because, a lot of our elderly population did grow up on some type of a farm or with some rural connection.
Right. Well, let's start with the benefits of pet ownership. And actually, animals help reduce stress. They lower blood pressure and increase social interaction and physical activity. And dogs and cats live very much in the present, they say. They don't worry about tomorrow. which can be a very scary concept for an older person. An animal embodies a sense of here and now, and it tends to rub off on people.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Think about, I love that, like being in the present moment. You know, basically, if you have to leave your dog at home and you go do an errand and it takes you a lot longer than you think, and you're probably stressing yourself out because you're like, oh, the dog's going to be so mad at me. That dog is never mad at you. They are happy as heck to see you because they're funny. Living for the moment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So
they do say that pets can have just an astounding effect on the symptoms of depression and feelings of loneliness. Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just to have a companion there.
Yep. They're one of the dogs that's mentioned is named Bonnie. Mm-hmm. And they said we never felt alone when Bonnie was in the house.
Yes. Oh, that's so true.
Yeah. So how to find the right pet for a senior? Boy. So one of the very first things you have to consider is the physical abilities.
Right.
And mental abilities of the person you're getting the pet for. Do they live alone? Are they going to be 100% responsible for that animal? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to have them both move into your house? And are you willing to have that animal again?
Well, yeah. And basically, is the person that you always have to think about it from the perspective of, okay, are we getting a pet for this person because this person wants a pet, or are we getting a pet for this person because we think it's what's best for them? But maybe they're set in their ways, and maybe this is going to create, some anxieties or whatever. So really evaluate that situation first.
Yes.
Before just showing up with an animal.
Oh my goodness. Mother.
Step number one.
Yes. Mother, unfortunately, one of her dogs had gotten run over, and it was sad. It always is sad when something like that happens. And then Callie's like, oh my gosh, we got to get Grandma a puppy. And we mentioned it to Mother, and she was like, are you crazy?
Don't you dare bring up. Yeah.
We thought it was a wonderful idea.
Yes.
But not so much. We did not get the puppy.
Yes. Well, then the next thing to consider when you're getting a pet for someone or yourself, if you're the one, has this person had a pet before, or have you had a pet before? So you want to make sure that they're prepared and equipped for this experience if they have not ever done it before.
Right. Those disabilities, and consider that puppy that it's going to have to go outside.
Yep.
It's going to have to go potty. You're going to have to be up and down. You're going to have to feed it. You're going to have to walk it. So how are we going to work around those?
Yes, absolutely. Same with like a cat. If you've got an indoor cat, are you going to be able to get the litter box cleaned and taken care of?
Yeah.
So all things to consider. I mean, because I think we always, let's get a pet, but there are definitely things to think about first.
Yeah. There are some people that get that pet and then they just simply can't take care of it, and it starts to poop in the house. Right. Or as a puppy, they piddle. So one of the things I wouldn't recommend is an older person that with limited mobilities getting a puppy. Right. Let's get one that's a little bit slower. There's a ton of animals out there in the animal shelters that are older, that don't always, everybody wants a puppy. Right. But sometimes it's more appropriate to get that animal that's already been trained a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And then kind of considering what are we looking at here? Is this a therapeutic and emotional support? Is this an animal that's going to have a higher level of function needed for those seizures, or for the, basically being able to smell blood sugar differences for a diabetic? Looking at what do we want this animal to accomplish?
Right. What temperament would be best fit? Everybody thinks that they need a small dog, but are you going to get the Jack Russell small dog who is nothing but lightning and fire, just like cyclone, wound up. Lots and lots of energy? Is that what you're looking for? Or I know one time we've always thought we needed to have a wiener dog, right? And that little turd, just
I remember wiener.
Oh man, yeah. It wouldn't listen for nothing. And I understand that breed specifically takes it at least a good couple years before they'll finally settle down enough to even look at you like, oh, maybe you do know what you're talking about. But,
yes.
His name was Wiener.
Yes, I recall.
He was a handful.
Terror. He was.
Yes.
But he was so cute.
He was so cute. So cute.
Okay, so another thing to take into consideration if you are getting a pet is, are you getting a healthy pet?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not that the pets that are unhealthy don't deserve to have a home. We just need to make sure that we're getting an appropriate match with the skill set.
Oh, yeah. It's shocking to me how much people will spend on medicines and shots and all of that for their animals. So is your animal a diabetic and it needs 3 shots a day?
Right.
Or does it have arthritis, so it's got to do this? I mean,
Right.
they have issues too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how much are you going to be able to handle the bill for
Right.
the vet, the special food, the medicine, and then the time and energy
Right.
that it takes to keep that one healthy?
Yep. Then you have to think about 1 or 2. If 1 is good, 2 must be better, right?
No, no.
Not
I
always.
did that. We lost Paisley, our beautiful little dog. So we found new puppies, and it was brothers. And I was like, oh my word.
Just perfect.
Look at this. They'll grow up together. They'll play together, and it won't be a problem. And it's just been
A problem.
a problem. They are just so naughty. Yeah.
Are they, is it just a youth thing?
No, they're getting older now, and they should have
and-
youthed out.
They're still naughty.
Still bad.
Well, you know. Is there one in particular that's a bad influence and the other
No,
follows? Are they both
just when I think
kind of like you and me?
Yeah,
both bad
one's
influences?
Michi, and one's Cooper. And just when I think that Michi's the naughtiest, then Cooper pulls some harebrained thing, and they still just have all of that energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just hilarious because I just when I think I know that they've settled down and everything's good,
Right. Not so much.
off to the races.
We talked about finances already. You just want to make sure that you're going to be able to support that animal.
Yeah.
And then a really, really important one, and we're actually dealing with this with one of our employees right now, is there a backup plan in place for the pet? And one of our employees, our nurses, had become friends with a person, and essentially that person passed away and there are animals left behind. And now Nurse Margaret she just gained some more family members, but thankfully there was a backup plan in place.
Yeah, for the gal that passed,
Yes.
but not for Margaret.
Yes.
And you should tell them about Tuna. How did we get Tuna?
Oh, well, Tuna, so our office cat, basically, she had lived with one of our clients, and that client had actually many cats, and Tuna was naughty. She just was naughty. So, she'd go to the bathroom everywhere. She tears stuff up. She just didn't behave. So our employee, Kim, that used to work here with us, Kim is has the biggest heart for animals.
Yes.
And so she said, you know what, I'm going to take that cat and I'll just take it to my house and everything will be fine. So Tuna went to live with Kim. Well, turns out she was naughty there too. So then Kim said, hey, Julie, hey, Inga, what do you think if I start bringing Tuna to the office just during the day when I'm here, and then I'll take her home at night, and just so I can keep a better eye on her, because naughty. So anyway, we said, yes, of course, let's do that. Sounds like a great idea. So Tuna started coming here, and I don't even know if it was 2 days, maybe 3. Tuna decided she was not leaving.
Yeah.
She's thriving here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's a turd, but she is thriving, and it turns out she is just a one animal. She cannot be in a house with multiple animals.
Doesn't play well with others.
Nope.
Yeah.
So she's just living her best life, queen of the castle here.
Yeah.
And I love her. She brings me a lot of joy when she's not being mean to me. But even then, I still love her.
Oh, yeah. So it's just funny. That's just a classic example of how you might even end up with a pet.
Yep.
And you had no intentions of it. But it worked out for the best because I know how much you enjoy this stinking cat.
Oh, I know. I do. And she really does. She doesn't cause trouble here for the most part, other than rudely interrupting our podcast recordings. Other than that.
I don't know how you get anything done because that cat's like always right here on top of your keyboard.
Oh, she tries, yes. And then when I'm gone, she pesters everybody else. She's really gotten into bothering Kevin a lot.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she doesn't bother me. She stays clear. We've had a talk.
Okay, well,
She
good. I'm glad
understands.
she's listening to somebody.
Where I'm watching you.
Yes.
So we want to go back to the the mobility just real quick. I had done some research because I'm always nervous when I go to a home visit and I see that there's an animal there and somebody's got mobility issues. I'm always watching that. But as I researched it, there are apparatuses out there. There's a hands-free leash, and actually what it is it goes around your waist.
Oh, wow.
So don't be putting it with the St. Bernard and you weigh 90 pounds because they'll be leading you, right?
Oh, yes.
They also have no-pull harnesses, and what that does is it actually the harness, it clips in the front instead of the back where you usually see the dog walking forward. But if they start to go too fast or too far, it turns them around and faces the person. So that it seems to be there's a lot more control that way. Yep. And so also the other thing is if you just simply shouldn't be walking somebody because you're using a walker or a cane and it's a trip hazard, do you have a yard that they can go out and they can be in? Now, the only downside is that maybe you're going to have to hire your grandkid or somebody to go pick up the poo on a daily or weekly basis,
Yes, yes.
Speaking of pets, we one time we went through the phase of hedgehogs.
Yes, I recall.
Nobody tells you that those cute little balls of prickly pins, they poop like an elephant. For their size, I was blown away. They should have told me that because quite frankly,
that would have been the deal breaker. Right?
I would not have done these cute little hedgehogs because I didn't know how much they pooped. I can't even tell you. I was blown away. I was blown away. And it didn't matter. Didn't matter if they were sitting on your lap.
Oh,
we had those little rolly balls.
Yep.
And it was just so cute. Checking around, all of a sudden they pooped in it. And of course it gets all over. So then it's like, it's not fun anymore because so you have to clean.
Yeah. Beware the hedgehog.
Yes.
Maybe not. That one maybe is not recommended.
They are so cute. And they do sleep 23 hours a day, but we were trying to interact and
yes.
Yeah.
Well, you live and you learn.
Oh, yeah. That's my hedgehog.
I have a funny story about apparatuses that are, built to help you with your animals. So we live on a farm, of course, and we have the invisible radius collar. So so basically the housing, sits in, there's one in our house and there's one in the barn, and it basically, the more of them that you have, the bigger the radius can be. But then the dogs have to wear a collar that kind of has some prongs, and if they approach or if they get beyond their radius, it will give them a warning beep. They know, do not go any further. All right. So the other day, we had our friend, we had producer Alyssa out, and she's got this corgi, Cal. He loves to come out on the farm because there's just a lot to do there. Well, his battery was getting a little weak. So I thought, okay, well, we'll switch out Perry Dog, the prairie dog that lives there. So I took Perry's collar off of her, and I'm just, going out. I've got it in my hand. I'm walking out because I'm going to have Kevin change the battery out. And all at once, I hear the beep. It does not register to me what's happening. And then I just get zapped because I'm literally holding onto the prongs. Just dropped it. Like, oh, you idiot. Anywho, but it was comforting to know that it did startle me, but it didn't hurt me. No. So it was actually a nice, it was nice to know because I feel better about this. Really is. It's just getting the attention of the dogs if they are going beyond their boundaries.
Lordy. Oh man.
It was a big shocker. I don't know if I made noise or if I just turned around and walked the walk of shame. I'm not exactly sure what I did.
Oh my word.
Anywho.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to talk about the Eden alternative.
Yes.
And what that's talking about is actually bringing animals into a long-term facility. And the gentleman that actually came up with this, it was a geriatrician, Dr. William Thomas. And basically he has long held belief that disease, disability, and decline are the purview of the older generation, stating instead that the real problems for our elders are loneliness, helplessness, and boredom, all of which led to spiritual decay and decay. And anyway, his whole thing, and I love this, is that he wanted to really nurture a close and continuing contact with plants, animals, and children. So that's really cool.
Yes.
So as he came along, so he started these 10, what is it called? The
guiding principles.
Guiding principles for these long-term care. And like you were saying, our friend took her fainting goats. And in 4-H, quite often we would always take our little animals to the different long-term facilities and share, and bunnies.
Yes.
And I think we had some chickens and baby sheep.
Yes. Yep.
And dogs and kitties and all of that. And people just love that. But they're talking about how that it helps with the isolation and all of that. So the 10 different things that they say, the 3 plagues of loneliness, helplessness, and boredom account for the bulk of suffering among our elders.
An elder-centered community commits to creating a human habitat where life revolves around close and continuing contact with plants, animals, and children in these relationships that provide the young and old alike with a pathway to a life worth living.
Loving companionship is the antidote to loneliness. Elders deserve easy access to human and animal companionship.
An elder-centered community creates opportunity to give as well as receive care. This is the antidote to helplessness.
An elder-centered community imbibes daily life with variety and spontaneity by creating an environment in which unexpected and unpredictable interactions and happenings can take place. This is the antidote to boredom, which is so true. You never know when you have a 4-legged critter.
Yes.
Or a bird, you never know what excitement might happen.
So speaking of that, I grew up riding horses, and Kevin loves to ride motorcycles. And I always said that horses were better than motorcycles because horses don't want to die as much as I don't want to die. So when something unpredictable happens, the motorcycle is just going to launch itself off the cliff. It doesn't care at all, right? But the horse is going to be like, maybe not. Let's think this through. So that's why I stick with horses.
Oh, that's funny. Yes.
Sorry. Anyway, meaningless activity corrodes the human spirit. The opportunity to do things that we find meaningful is essential to human health.
Medical treatment should be the servant of genuine human caring, never its master. I love that.
Yeah. An elder-centered community honors its elders by de-emphasizing top-down bureaucratic authority, seeking instead to place the maximum possible decision-making authority into the hands of the elders or into the hands of those closest to them.
Creating an elder-centered community is a never-ending process. Human growth must never be separated from human life.
And wise leadership is the lifeblood of any struggle against these 3 plagues. For it there can be no substitution.
Oh, and with that, he talks about bringing the plants, the animals, and the children in. And so basically there are a lot of places that do now have their house animals. They'll have a kitty that will roam. Yep. They'll have that dog, or as we were talking, how groups will bring in a service dog and do that. So that's really important with that mental and emotional and physical, just all of the big things that pets can do for our elders.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Julie. I'm glad that you picked this topic to discuss today. I just think there is, again, so much value that can be brought to the table by adding a pet into the care plan.
Yep. It says, be sure to think through whether you'll be equipped to take care of the pet, or if the older person in your life can no longer take care of it, are you going to take it? Whether pet ownership is an option or visiting pets will fill the void.
Right.
So, it doesn't mean you have to get a pet, but is there opportunities?
Yes.
Opportunities to be able to interact.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember at one time bringing my friend Susanna Banana from the skilled nursing facility out to the farm.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to just drive right up so she could still be in the vehicle. And it worked out for her because she couldn't physically get out and go into the pasture, but she was close enough. We could carry a lamb over, let her pet on it, love on it. Yeah.
That was probably one of the best days of her life.
I think so.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
Well, thank you again for that. And I guess it's going to be moving into our grandma sayings.
Okay.
So Laura told us, when you're a grandparent, when you laugh, when your grandkids do the same things that made you so angry when your kids did them, that's when you know you're a grandparent.
Yeah. She's not wrong.
So true. So true.
Oh, I know.
Good
there
one,
are
Laura.
literally times that I'm like, Mom, you would have never let us do that. And she'll say, donuts for before your main meal? Absolutely. Dessert first. What?
Like, who are you? Wait a minute. That is not how this went down when I was
my
here.
mother?
Yeah, and the kids are all like, Grandma's the best.
Yeah.
You get to have cake for breakfast.
Yes, that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, goodness. Well, thanks for tuning in today. And if you have not already subscribed, please go and do that. You can do it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Leave us a review, share us with a friend. Go and join our Apaga Care and Share group. I think our goal is to start getting all of these podcast episodes put on that Care and Share group so you have easy access to them. And just join in the discussion. We would really love to hear from you.
Yeah, that Care and Share, weekly I'll take the work that Alyssa's done, put it in there, and every topic is different. And it's just a way for people to give stories or to read stories and understand that, oh my gosh, I had this situation. Does anybody else know what to do?
Yep.
And it's just a venue for us that might not be able to physically get together all the time, but to still get to have that interaction and think about what other people are saying and doing.
Yeah. Well, and what I love about it, what we're seeing is that we have a lot of professional people that are part of that group, in addition to the people that are the family caregiver. And so there's a good mix. And when you have questions, there's just a tremendous amount of knowledge available.
It's so good.
It might not be, it might not be already posted, but if you have a question, I really, really encourage you to go and leave it on that page, because there's a tremendous amount of support.
Reach out, because we're here. Everybody's here for each other. They really are.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, man, that was a good one.
Yep, that was fun.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Oh, have a good day.